Welcome back to Las Vegas. It's Alex Belfield talking to the stars of probably the most spectacular show in the world. There's no question. at the Bellagio is one you have to see if you come here to Sin City. And it's always nice to talk to two big stars. We've got Sephora for you. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Really good, thank you. And Danute as well. How are you?
Good, thanks. How are you?
Hey, really nice to talk to you both. And this show never fails, does it? It always sells out. It always gets a standing ovation. And it always takes our breath away.
There is something about it, I guess. It's a very special show. I think it has a lot to do with the water element. You know, people just love it, and of course the acrobatics, the gymnastics, the synchronized swimming. It's all just fantastic. Really, it's a very popular show.
To me, it pushes production to another level. It defies gravity. It's enormous. The water comes and goes. The stage comes and goes. And then your element of performance added to it is really where it pushes it to the next level. You jump from great heights. You have to go underwater and keep breathing. There's a lot going on, isn't there?
Yeah, well, that's the key, I think. 'Cause it's a lot going on in the water and above the water. And the stage definitely makes a big impact on it.
I've always said I think in this show they should sell backstage tickets because that would be as interesting. It must be chaos backstage, making it all work and seem so seamless.
It's true. They've actually done documentaries where they've filmed underwater, and you can see, because it's not just the performers who go underwater, there's technicians who are in scuba gear who have to kind of help with giving air, with exits and entrances. They move props. You know, there's times when the clowns push props into the water and they help move those props. So there's so much going on that way. And then, of course, all the rigging. There's technicians who are dealing with hanging people, flying people. There's a lot going on. There's a lot that could go wrong. And I think it's an amazing, and it's a big testament to the technicians we have that nothing does go wrong. It's very, very rare that there's someone gets injured because of something like that. So.
And again, there's three elements to this show. There's the water, there's the lighting, and then there's the music. That's how it all fits together, really.
Well, yes, that's my part. So I'm one of the singers, and Benoit Jutras is the composer he's written for a few Cirque du Soleil shows, and his music is, it's very powerful. It's got a real global element, so people feel like maybe it's a little Middle Eastern, a little African, but you don't really know where it's from, and I think that's the point of the music. It's supposed to inspire you, but maybe in ways you hadn't anticipated.
And again, it's anthemic. The music really moves you, and especially at the end when the curtain comes down and then goes back up again. Just so moving. What's it like for you every night to sing these songs? Are you watching the show? What goes through your mind when you're singing?
You know, it's really funny because I've been here for 4 years, and I really do often watch the show. I still find it amazing. Of course, I have parts that are my favorite parts, parts of the act, and I do try to watch it. Now, I mean, when you're singing, I can't always be kind of focusing there, but I think if you're going to do a gig like this where you're performing for a long time, you do have to find different inspirations. So that changes from week to week or from month to month. You find new ways of performing it, new reasons for performing it. That's what being a performer is about,
And the songs are anthemic, and your voice is kind of ethereal. It's beautiful and pure. That's kind of the thing. You don't want a rock singer, particularly doing those touching numbers.
Well, not for this particular show. I think they have one kind of aesthetic ideal for and then, a show like Zumanity, it is a real rock show. And the band rocks out, and the singers rock out. They're all a little different, but for this show, we have two female singers, and we have a Senegalese singer, and it is definitely... there's a lot of pure tone singing, a lot of really emotional kind of singing. Yeah.
I had two guests with me last week when I brought them in, and I pointed out halfway through you were there. I suspect half the people who come in don't even realize there's live music because there's so much to distract you.
Well, it's true, and we're lit sometimes and we're not lit sometimes. So you have to but I mean, I know a lot of people who come and see the show, and my parents, for example, have seen it for 5 or 6 times now, and they still, there's so many things they didn't even know were happening, and they always discover new things. So we're one of those things to discover,
Let's talk about the physicality of this show. I mean, how physically challenging is it on a scale of 1 to 10? Because you're pushed in many ways, aren't you?
Well, yes. Yeah, it's demanding physically and mentally. But I was in gymnastics for like 17 years, so I kind of know what my body needs. So try to keep myself in shape.
Tell me where you're from and your story. How did you get here?
I'm from Romania. A friend of mine who was in a touring show called Saltimbanco came once when there was a vacation for them, came home, and he showed me some DVDs and said, when you're done with gymnastics and you want to pursue a career doing acrobatic stuff, try to apply for Cirque Du Soleil. So
It seems to me this is the natural move after you've had your somewhat limited career. I mean, you're not going to be 70 and still doing gymnastics. It seems like this is the place to give you something back and give you a proper career and some reward in terms of a round of applause. It must be great to know that Cirque kind of take you to the next level.
Oh yeah, it's a great feeling, and you get to do what you love the most. So yeah.
How do we do this show justice by describing the enormity of it, the heights, the lows, the water, the stage moving? Describe some of the things you do within the show.
I'm what they call it here a flyer. My act is called bateau, which means boat in English. And basically people throw me from one side to another. And it says the parallel bars from gymnastics, and the structure, how they build it, looks like a boat.
It's the only part of the show I don't like. Do you mind me saying that?
You have the right to say that.
It makes me too nervous. I can't bear it. I mean, there you are, and I think you're going to fall at any second, and I'm sat there on the edge of my seat. I mean, I'm not the only one to say that.
Yeah, true. You get used to it. If you're scared of heights, that's not the place for you, I guess.
No, but I'm not even. I'm just sat in my chair and I'm nervous. For you, is it just completely comfortable because you've done it so many times? And of course, it's safe. I mean, even if you fell, you'd fall into water, so you're not going to hurt yourself. But the drama of the show and the music kind of helps with that, with the beat and stuff. Are you just completely comfortable up there?
Oh yeah. Yeah, and yeah, putting the music and artistic part of the acrobatic makes and it's great.
Are you like me though? There are points in this show when it gets rather edgy and you start feeling nervous.
Not anymore. It used to be, but I've watched this show now probably almost 2,000 times, and like I said, the people are so competent and so amazing at what they do. I feel very comfortable watching them now, you know.
Do you know what I mean, though, when I said earlier, it's hard to explain the enormity of this show and do it justice, because for anybody who hasn't seen it, there is nothing like this on this scale anywhere else in the world, including Broadway and the West End.
It's true. It's partly the size of the theater itself. It's a huge theater. The curtain itself, you saw when it pulls out, it's so dramatic, you know, and then all the characters, it's a huge cast. I think we have 75, 80 people in the cast. I mean, that's, you know, most Broadway shows might have 10, 20 people. You really have to come to Vegas, I think, to see shows on that scale.
I had two cousins in town from the Midwest who I specifically wanted to see this show, and it's the only ticket I've actually paid for and would pay for because it's a guaranteed hit. I want to talk about theatre etiquette, though. Those coming in late, trying to squeeze past me when the guy's about to go up in the ceiling at the beginning. Why can't those people be banned from the building? This is what I want to know. If you can't get there on time, then you shouldn't be allowed in.
Well, I think they do actually I think they do hold people for the very, very beginning of this show, but people have paid a lot of money for these tickets, you know. It's Las Vegas, they get lost, there's traffic, there's people, you know, so it takes them a lot longer to get here than they anticipate. So, I mean, half of our audience probably wouldn't get to see the show if we just kept everybody out. So, you know, it's Las Vegas is a place where they want people to have fun and relax, and so we're trying to encourage that.
It is a different type of audience, isn't it, compared to West End or Broadway? People are in different moods, and they've often had a drink. I suppose by your 10 p.m. shows, the reactions can be much louder.
Oh yeah, definitely. You can hear it. Oh yeah.
And what about you being able to enjoy a buffet and a glass of wine before you do your little boat act?
I don't think so. You want to be in the best shape up there, so no.
How tough is it keeping fit in this town? I mean, it's hot. It's getting really hot now. It'll be 110 by mid-June, something like that. Are you affected by the weather? Does it impede your performance?
No, not at all. Definitely, yeah, it gets hot during the summer. It's very hot, but you know, you get used to it.
Every vocalist I've spoken to moans about the weather and the dryness of the air. What about you?
Yeah, it's really tough. Your body does acclimatize after about a year, but there's a lot of things I've had cut out. I've cut out coffee. You know, I really limit. I have a couple of glasses of wine. That was tea that I'm drinking. I drink a couple of glasses of wine a week, but I've really cut back on anything that can dry out my voice even more, because when you're singing that much, you know, it's a muscle and it gets tired, it gets dried out. If we could be in California, am I allowed to say that? Then maybe get some ocean air, that would be awesome. But Vegas itself, the town, is fantastic. And I mean, I grew up on the ocean. I'm from Newfoundland, Canada. And that's what I'm used to and what I love. But the desert I've fallen in love with the desert in a different way, so.
Do you ask yourself why you, of all the people they could have picked? I mean, there aren't many jobs in show business right now anyway, and you've got the gig and you keep it. Do you wonder why that is and why they've chosen you?
Well, I think, you know, it's kind of a popular thing to say about success or about, having success in your career. It's that you have to be ready when the opportunity's there. If you're not prepared, then it's going to pass you by. And I'm sure there have been opportunities that passed me by because of that, but it just happened that when the singer before me, she had been here for 10 years, when she decided to leave, I was the right person for that job. And I feel so grateful. It's an amazing show to be a part of. It's an amazing experience as a singer. So.
The music is beautiful, as simple as that, isn't it?
It really is. It's very, very powerful music, and I think you can always find new things to inspire you in it.
And you come away with two things. One, having seen a great show and walking around saying aye for the next 16 months. It's rather annoying, that, but in a powerful way it stays with you.
I guess so, yeah. I don't know. I don't, yeah. I mean, I don't go around saying aye, but...
Do you ever say aye to your friends home?
Not really.
No. Just me then, is it?
Yeah.
Hey, listen, guys, thank you so much for talking to me. Like I say, you won't see a bigger show anywhere in the world. And it's not just me saying that. It literally is the most expensive production in the world ever.
It is, yes, but I think it's paid for itself and beyond that. I mean, it's not just the money. That's what it comes down to. Franco, when he put the show together, he is a very special director. He had a real vision, and whatever it was that he added, it's that special touch that's made it a special show. And you can throw as much money as you want at something, but it needs that extra. It needs the extra oomph, I guess, to take it over the top.
You'll never be disappointed if you come and see how it's on at Bellagio in Las Vegas. Guys, thank you very much for talking to me.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you.